Hello, I'm Father Joe Gambala, pastor of St. Malachy Catholic Church. Welcome to Lenten Reflections. Today is the Thursday after Ash Wednesday. The scripture passage I have chosen for today is Mathew chapter 18, verses 21 to 35. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, "Lord, if my brother keeps on sinning against me, how many times do I have to forgive him? 7 times? No, not 7 times, answered Jesus, but 7 times 70 times. Because the kingdom of heaven is like this. Once there was a king who decided to check upon his servants' accounts. He had just begun to do so when one of them was brought in who owed him millions of dollars. The servant did not have enough to pay the debt, so the king ordered him be sold as a slave along with his wife and children and all that he had in order to pay the debt. The servant fell on his knees before the king. "Be patient with me," he said. "I will pay you everything." The king felt sorry for him, forgave the debt, and let him go. Then that same man went out and met one of his fellow servants who owed him a few dollars. He grabbed the man and started choking him. "Pay back what you owe me," he said. His fellow servant fell down and begged him, "Be patient with me and I will pay you back." But he refused. Instead, he had him thrown into jail until he would pay him back. When the other servants saw what had happened, they were very upset and went to the king and told him everything. So the king called in the servant and said, "You worthless slave, I forgave you the whole amount you owed me just because you asked me to. You should have mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had mercy on you." The king was very angry and sent the servant to jail to be punished until he paid back what was owed. And Jesus concluded, "That is how my Father in heaven will treat every one of you unless you forgive your brother from your heart." When I was growing up, I lived on a street, and for almost a mile, I was related to everyone on that street. They were all descendants of my great-grandpa and grandma who had come from Poland and bought that property. And I had a great-uncle and a great-aunt that got into a very big fight in the late 1940s when my great-grandparents died. The fight was over a property line. It was simply a matter of feet. But because of the lawsuit and the bitterness resulting from that lawsuit, they spent the next 30 years never speaking to each other, even though they lived next to each other. Holding grudges can kill you. Being merciful and forgiving may or may not affect the person that you are forgiving, but it certainly will help the person doing the forgiving, because being merciful takes the load off of our own shoulders and allows us to be more open to the presence of God.